The Prime Minister has announced new policies on disposable vapes from today, banning them to help protect children's health after an alarming rise in youth vaping.
New powers will be brought in to restrict vape flavours and introduce plain packaging, and also change how they are displayed in stores. Joining us now is Ewan Fisher, who was on a ventilator for 2 months at the age of 16 as a result of his use of disposable vapes. Ewan, thanks very much for joining us this morning. Can you tell us why you started vaping?
Good morning. So I started vaping because I was smoking cigarettes before and I wanted to uptake a boxing career and try and get a lot further and progress. So I took on vaping, obviously, because the whole thing that was in the ear is it's a lot better than smoking cigarettes, and a lot still believe that, obviously. But it's getting targeted more and more at children, and it just seems to be getting, like, the age just keeps getting younger and younger, and you see kids as young as 10, 11 vaping, and their bodies haven't even, like, progressed all the way yet, and it's just going to be ruining them from such a young age.
What reaction did you suffer when you took on the vape? Was it cumulative, or was it a sudden reaction to a vape that you were smoking?
So I was vaping for a little bit, not too long actually, before I ended up in my coma and nearly lost my life. So I started having like chest infections, well, what I thought were chest infections. And my mum did tell me to stop vaping, and I didn't really listen to her because I was a teenager. I thought I knew best. And yeah, I wish I had listened, because it ruined my whole life, really. I had a reaction called hypersensitivity pneumonitis. Yeah, and I was on an ECMO machine and 2 different supports of life support.
That is, I mean, for your mum, that must have been awful. For you going through this, realising probably at the time, did you think, I've inflicted this upon myself?
Well, at the time, I wasn't too sure what it was until all the tests were taken and it was proven that it was vaping. I wouldn't like to have said what it was that happened to me. But then, obviously, the effect it had on my family, my mum especially, my dad, because they had to obviously take time off work and look after me because I couldn't walk. I had to learn how to walk again because I lost all my muscles just from being in a coma.
How much were you vaping?
I was just using it as like a substitute for cigarettes, so I wasn't vaping all the time. I was literally where I would usually just go and have a cigarette. I know I was still young and I shouldn't have been smoking it. I'd done it from like quite a young age because of peer pressure, and I was in school and I thought it was something clever, which clearly it wasn't. I was just literally vaping as I would usually go out and have a cigarette at whatever time.
And what do you think of the proposals to ban the disposable vapes, get rid of all the fruity flavours and the like? I mean, was that something that you were smoking, the sort of sweet flavours that appeal to children?
Yeah, so basically, to start off with, obviously I was vaping all the different flavours and whatnot. I was using the box mods, and it was like blackjack, tutti-frutti, things like that. So that's what was appealing to me, and that's what I was doing. But I do think a ban will like take down the figures and the amount of like young children that are like uptaking vaping.
And you shouldn't have been able to buy them. So how easy was it for you to access them?
Yeah, it was really easy. Like I could go to, well, I'm going to be honest. I've went in my school uniform to a shop before, and I've got one from behind the counter.
Was there any comments, any raised eyebrows, or was it sort of just, I'm here, I've got the money, so I can buy them, so, you know, I'll walk out with them?
Yeah, that's literally how it was. I didn't seem to get frowned upon or nothing. Like, it just was basically take my money and no asking age or nothing like that. And it happens everywhere. Like, even if a kid wanted to ask an adult to go into the shop nowadays, some adults don't see it as a bad thing. And most parents, where the young children are vaping, they're going out to the shops and buying them for the children, and it just don't make no sense. It's a crazy like time.
Do you see vapes as inherently dangerous, or is it specifically just for children, perhaps with developing bodies? Would you like to see vapes almost considered on the same level of cigarettes, or do you think they have some use?
Yeah, 100%. I've been saying this for quite a long time, actually, because who's to say, well, 50 years ago, cigarettes were looked at as something good, and you was able to do it in pubs, wherever, really. And vapes haven't been around as long as cigarettes. Who's to say that in 30, 50 years' time, vapes aren't going to have the same effect on people, not just children, the whole of society, that cigarettes have on people today?
Ewan, thank you so much for talking to us. It's
Yeah,
obviously
thanks,
amazing to hear how you recovered and just to get some sort of first-hand analysis of what it was like to, as a teenager, be smoking these things. And thank you.